new divorcee. Well, I have some skin in the game now. So I'm 3 years in, Camille.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, but the thing is, I'm away from that, and I'm really ready at this point to date again. So you really caught my attention. You and I may have had a conversation then, but I didn't even remember what your deal was. But then I keep following you, and I see this book on how successful women date differently.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we're going to talk, we're going to talk about the book, and we're going to talk about your retreat coming up as well.
Okay.
So first things first, we'll just go ahead and get into this, and you all will be kind of working on some things because we've had to overcome a few technical difficulties. But Camille, talk to us about why you wrote the book, because again, I'm following you. Why do successful women have to date differently?
It took me a bit of time to really understand that for myself. But, the world has changed. Men have changed, the reasons why they get into relationship and get married have changed. The reason why women get into relationships and get married have changed. And everything is just different.
Yes.
And I find that we as people just living on the earth, what we do is we get stuck in this hypnotic trance. And we tend to do the same thing over and over and over again. We don't even pay attention. We just wake up, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, we take our shower, we make our bed, we eat our oatmeal, we go walk our dog, and we go to work, and we come home and we do the same thing in the evening, right? We never really think about what we're doing. We just continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, and we never think about it. And we never even understand why things don't change for us, why things remain the same. Why do we get into a relationship with Tom, Dick, Harry, Mike, and whoever, Sue nowadays, right? And we get into a relationship with all these people, and we say, dang, all these people are the same. And we don't really understand why it seems like everything is the same around us. It's because we're doing the same thing. And I really want to encourage women that it's time to wake up and do something different. Men don't need to get married to have sex anymore. That was the primary reason they got married and got into relationships, is because they wanted to have sex. They wanted to have somebody by their side, and they just knew if they wanted to get their needs met and have sex, they needed to make a commitment to someone. Well, guess what? Now they don't need to do that, right? They don't need to get married to get sex and get someone to shake a little something for them, right? They get all of that for free, right? And women, and so I think men, they've kind of gotten how the world has changed, and they really understand that it's a different world. They can have a woman in China, in Europe, in Japan, in Australia. They don't have to find someone down the street at the local bar like they used to, right? We used to just rely on that local bar, that local club, our school, our community, our places of worship to find a mate. But now you can just log on and pick a country and find a mate, right? And so for us as women, we still are looking for love the old-fashioned way, right? We still go out to that club looking for someone. We still go down the street to that restaurant looking for someone. We're still at our place of worship every weekend looking for someone, right? While all the men are everywhere else looking for someone. We're still doing the same things, trying to find love the old way when the world has changed, and we have to really do something different. Right. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to say, in order to get into a relationship, I have to do this or I have to do that. And we're lowering our standards. We're not aligned with our core values. Right. We're doing anything because we're wound driven. We haven't dealt with that little girl stuff inside of us. We haven't tried to heal. Right. We haven't dealt with the wound from our past. And so we're wound driven. And we're chasing men, we're chasing career, we're chasing money, we're chasing a life, being driven by our wounds, right? And so I wanted to shake women up and tell them it's time to do something different. If you want different results, right, you have to do something different. And that's what the book is all about, really taking a look at ourselves, getting out of our victimhood, and really, deciding, making the conscious decision to do something different. And why not date differently when we do that, right? And that's what I want to encourage women to do, to date differently, to do something different if you want a husband.
I could go so many different directions with this because you talk about doing something different and you talk about being wound driven. So let me start there. The wound driven as in WOUND.
Mm-hmm.
So if women are wound driven, some will say, because some will say, I'm not wound driven. Okay. For those who are,
those are the ones that are wound driven.
right,
They're
right.
in denial, right? And because of their wounds, you triggered them, and so now they're not wound driven. So if you just did that, you're wound driven.
Right. And that's wink, wink between you and I, Camille, right? So my question is, and you had and for those, if you missed her 3-day, the video should be available on YouTube. And I don't know the name of the challenge, but you did a 3-day challenge. Stop attracting the wrong love was the theme. Mm-hmm. Help women who are, and I listened to all of it and walk through all of it and may go back through it. Help women who are wound driven. How can we stop being wound driven and heal?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to just steal a quote from Oprah.
Okay.
I'm going to steal a quote from her that she made recently. I've been talking about this topic for years, and I was so happy that she just made a quote. And the quote that Oprah just recently made, I think on the, whatever the show is, Nightline, or the Barbara Walters thing that she's doing now, she said, if you're not working on the wound, if you're not working on the trauma, you're working on the wrong thing.
Wow.
And so we all have trauma. Some of us have just learned how to deal with it better than others, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we all have trauma some way, one form or another, even if it's just from our parents. If you got beat as a kid, you got trauma. If your parents, mm-hmm. if you were beaten as a child, you have some trauma. If your parents were divorced, you have some trauma. If you saw your daddy beating on your mama, you have some trauma. If your mama was mentally ill, you have some trauma. If your husband beat you, you have some trauma. If you were raped, if you were molested, if you were abused, if you were given up for adoption, abandoned, if your parents were in jail, drug addicts, or alcoholics, you have some trauma. I talk to women all the time and they say, I had a great childhood. Tell me about your parents. Well, they were separated or divorced, or they start talking about the fact that they saw their mother or their dad beat their mother, or their mother was so controlling. They were the one that led prayer in the household. They were the one that led the family. They were the matriarch, right? Well, you got some trauma. And I'm not speaking to anybody. I'm speaking to myself too, because all of these things that I've mentioned, I had to deal with. I've experienced these things in my life, and I know the trauma they caused. And what happened is we didn't know. Many of us don't know we even have any trauma, but we're driven by our wounds, right? And so let me tell you what I mean by that when I say we're driven by our wounds, right? Because some people say, what do you mean I'm wound driven? No, I'm purpose driven. Well, some people say, no, I'm not driven by my wounds. I'm purpose driven, but you're wound driven for the most part. If you haven't healed the wound, if you haven't dealt with the trauma is going to drive you. Wow. And that's a fact, right? And so, and the trauma drives us because somebody told you you weren't pretty enough. Your skin is too dark. Your lips are too big. Your hips are too thick, right? Somebody has told you that you're not good enough to get a college degree, and you'll never get a man, and you'll never amount to nothing. You'll never get out of the ghetto. You'll never, ever amount to anything. You'll be stuck. You'll be just like us, right? So you decided to prove them wrong. And so you didn't have a purpose. Your purpose was your mission to deal with the wounding that you had as a result of the negative thoughts that people have put into your head, into your mind, and into your spirit.
This is so good. And Camille, there's more than one way to skin a cat. In fact, what I'm doing right now is I'm bringing my live Facebook audience on, and I'm going to go live, and I'm literally going to, while I'm talking to you on Zoom, I'm literally going to take my camera and flip it because I want to make sure that they get this, okay?
Awesome.
I want to make sure that they hear this because you are saying some powerful things, and I'm connected to so many, hey Facebook, connected to so many single men and women who need to hear exactly what Camille Sheppard-Parrish say. And we've been on, y'all, we just had to do it a little bit differently. So Camille, let's go into another area. And as I'm looking at both cameras here, so let's go into another area. And let's talk about, you and your book, you mentioned, you know, how successful women, and y'all, I'm on with Camille Sheppard-Parrish, and I'm going to flip the camera around so you all will be able to see her in just a moment. So thank you so much for tuning in to us tonight. We're talking about successful women date differently. We're talking about the Love Rejuvenation Retreat, and she is dropping some powerful nuggets. If you missed church yesterday, you're going to get some church tonight, okay? Some church on how women can heal. And I'll tell you something, Camille, and I'm going to flip the camera so you'll be able to see Camille in just a moment. I don't only think it's just, hey, sweetheart, I don't only think it's single women.
No, absolutely.
I think we have some, you know, I think any woman can benefit from a soul healing, which is what you're preaching tonight.
Absolutely.
I want you to hear Camille. So talk about the importance. Ladies, Camille is talking about the importance. If you are looking for healthy love, the importance of your soul being whole. And we're having a few technical difficulties, but we're going to work it out because the message that she had is so good. I don't want you all to miss it. So Camille, what I'm going to do is flip the doggone camera around some kind of way, and we're going to work it out. So I want you to talk about and I'll switch a little bit differently. So for the women who do, the single women who are joining us and the single men as well, for single women, why is it so important that they date differently? And please tell us, how do single women date differently? How do we do it differently, Camille?
Well, we need to do it differently, right? We don't always do it differently, but the book is about how, you know, the fact that we're successful, we're where we are, but there's something that we need to do differently, right? And so we don't always do it differently. So my book is really a wake-up call to do it differently, right? You know, I look at even Kate Spade a couple of weeks ago, she took her life because she's, you know, in this relationship and her heart is broken. And so I just, even like you said, it's not just single women, it's married women. We need to do something differently, right? And so we need to date differently because the world has changed. Men are not dating the same way. And so we have to date differently. We cannot date the same way. We need to do something different. If we keep doing what we were doing years ago, we're going to get old results, right? So if we don't understand how to date in the modern day, we will still be single. We'll be single and lonely, growing old with our cats and our puppies. Right?
Camille, don't talk about me because I have a cat and I'm single. But honestly, I want to know, help us understand what that different looks like. So, and you are great about talking about this. Mm-hmm. I work in corporate America, okay? And you know, there's a certain attitude that we have to have in corporate America, but that attitude doesn't necessarily translate into a relationship.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So how do we do it differently?
Yes. So I love that you went there and you took it to corporate America because so many of us are successful. Many of us have our PhD, our MBA, our bachelor's, and we have these boss positions. And we go to work and we're really running the doggone thing, right? We're in charge of a lot of things at work and we're bosses. And the thing is that the energy, the tenacity, and the masculine energy that it takes to be successful in a male-dominated work environment doesn't work in relationships, right? And so, you know, years ago, women didn't work in a male-dominated environment. We stayed home. It wasn't until the war came, right? And I'm not suggesting that we go back. But it wasn't until the war came that we had to go to work to sustain America, if you will, and go take on these male-dominated roles because the men were out at war, right? And then, of course, we loved it. We wanted equality, and it grew and grew from there. And now here we are in this male-dominated work environment. But what happens is that we're still feminine inside, and in order to be accepted and to grow to different levels and to prove ourselves, that we can prove to the boss that we can do the job, we put out all of this masculine energy. But what happens is that the same tenacity that it took you to get your education, it took you to climb the corporate ladder, it will not work in relationships. So let's start there. And so you have to do something different. You have to learn what it takes to date in the modern world. And the same energy and control and power and masculine energy that you bring to work, you have to really leave that at work. And in my book, if you read in my book, you'll see I talk about all of this, especially in the forward, and then I get into talking about the topic of a stiletto transition. So we have to really understand how to go to work and exude this masculine energy, if necessary, in the boardroom, right, in the corporate world, how to put that all out in that type of environment. But how do we shift? How do we do a stiletto transition? How do we transition when we get home, in our home environment with our man, whether we're married or dating, right? How do we transition, right, and let loose some of that masculine energy, right? Because it's not a light switch. You can't just turn it off and on, but you can learn how to transition. And when I say transition, you may have to find what works for you to release some of that masculine energy and put on more girly energy so you can play girl at home. And for some of us,
how do we do that, Camille? How do we release that?
Yeah.
That's one simple thing that we could do to release that masculine energy.
I'll give you a couple of things, and for each woman it's different, right? So for me, one of the things that works for me is I love listening to music, right? And so music, the type of music that you listen to can help you get back into that feminine energy. Music is super powerful. So even when you're on your way home from work, you know, you can listen to the type of music, create a playlist for you that helps you wind down, relax, and let go some of that tension that you have from work and shift into a softer energy. So music can help. When you get home, even taking a shower, you know, using, you know, whatever you like to use to smell good, putting on some candles, putting on something a little bit sexy and nice, putting on your heels. All of those things can help you shift from that masculine mode to that feminine mode. And so ladies, you know, when you're going from work and you're going to a date or you're coming home, you want to be mindful. It starts with being mindful about the transition from the masculine side of you, which you need to make your money, to the feminine side, what you need to make your love work. And so, you know, it's all about the balance, right? It's all about having this good, healthy balance, and how do you transition? Each woman is different, but some of the things I mentioned may work for a lot of women. And it helps to really do the things that are feminine for yourself, self-care things, getting your nails done, hair done, putting a little lipstick on, not going out on your date in your work suit. You know, bring in a little dress to wear. If you're going to go out on a date, maybe that day to work, wear that little black dress and put a jacket or a sweater on while you're at work, right? And maybe you might have your little pearls and earrings on, and maybe you change your jewelry, and all you have to do is take your jacket off, maybe change your jewelry, take it some of it off, just wear earrings. Men don't like to see a lot of jewelry covering up your neck. They want to see how sexy your neck is, right? Some men do like jewelry, but, you know, take it off, you know, put on, maybe bring a different pair of pumps, not wear your Mary Janes out on a date. Maybe you have some stilettos, right? Or some cute sandals, right? With your toes done. And all of those things set the tone for you and for him. You know, the polarity, you really encourage healthy polarity between you and a man. The more you get into your feminine energy, the more he will be inspired to remain in his masculine energy.
That sounds good. And I have to give you all a funny note, because as she says that, right, I've got my little necklace on covering up my neck. So,
you know, and I had Mine on too. I took it off. I had to remember, take it off, take it off. Why are you covering up your neck? You don't have any wrinkles?
She says I don't have to do that. And Camille, I'm going to do something a little different. And I'm sorry, y'all, that I'm kind of transitioning the camera like this. But if there's any of you who want to actually come on, because we're having to do it a little bit differently because of some technical issues that we had. Remember, her book, Successful Women Date Differently. So I have Camille on live via Zoom. So I'm talking to you on Facebook and to her Zoom audience. If there are any of you who want to come on and who want to ask a question, I am happy to take your question so I can pose directly to her. She has a lot of wisdom in this relationship arena, and I really wanted to create a space for you all to be able to ask some questions and actually hear her knowledge, because she shared some things that have been so pivotal for me in helping to bring about some change for me. So just know that you have that invitation there. We won't go on much longer, but if you want me to bring you on, raise your hand or ask to come on camera, and we can get one of your questions or whatever, okay? And share this video out as well if you know some other people who can be helped by this as well. But again, she is the author of Successful Women Date Differently. You can Google it, you can look it up. It is a great modern day dating guide, because again, we have to do it differently, right, ladies? Right, gentlemen? So Camille, I will go back to you now. I'm going to transition back to Camille. And I want you to tell the members of our audience, because they're hearing from you, but I want you to share with them about your Love Rejuvenation Retreat. And I'm still a little bit sore that I may not be able to come to that because I have an engagement the month before. But what will happen there? Why did you develop the Love Rejuvenation Retreat?
Oh my gosh. So this retreat was really born out of my own pain. And this retreat is really designed to help women really restore healthy love from the inside out. And so at the retreat, I pull out all the stops to help you do that. From the moment that you walk into the retreat, we start right away helping you to create your love breakthrough, start to identify what's blocking you from love. And from the first night, the first thing we do is we want the women to really bond and to gel and to get to know each other. And that's the first thing that we do. Your camera is sideways on Facebook. I'm looking at your other page.
Do I need to shift it?
I think you need to turn it around. I just happened to peek at your page. And we're sideways.
This is interesting. Okay, keep going. We've had all types of technical fun.
Isn't it funny? But you know, the good thing is that I am recording, and
okay.
So we can share the full, clean recording afterwards. So that they can get it, they can go back and watch it, and we can try this again. I love this. I love chatting with you. I just love you. I love everything that you do, and so we can do that another time too. So the retreat really helps women restore healthy love from the inside out. You know, I know so many women, they don't really understand what's blocking them from the love that they really deserve. They don't understand why they're single. They're so successful. They have their life together. They have their money together. You know, they have their bodies together, whether they worked hard or bought it, right? So we got all these things together, but we are still sitting back trying to figure out why we're still single. So instead of trying to figure out why you're still single and just sitting back, growing old and not really getting into relationships or not having the life that you really deserve, I really wanted to create something that's experiential that helps women really shift from where they are to where they want to be. I want to help women learn how to heal the pain from past relationships and from life experiences, and really shift from where they are to experiencing wholeness and attract true and happy love. And what really makes our retreat so special is that it's really all about the woman. It's all about healing from the inside out. So again, like I said, it's super experiential, and I bring a team of people in to really support me. I have Todd Malloy. Some of you may know him. He's a well-known therapist, author, speaker, and a coach as well. And he's going to be in there to really help me work with you all, you know, deal with those childhood childhood wounds. If anyone knows the work and familiar with my work, you know that my passion is working with that grown little girl inside and trying to get in touch with her and turning her around from some of her old woundings, from some of her pains, from some of the walls that she has up, to a place where she can be free to play and enjoy life all over again. And so at the retreat, we really help to unearth the past experiences and childhood trauma, like I mentioned earlier, such as abuse, abandonment, divorce, or any of these things that end up causing pain, shame, blame, and guilt, or really bitterness or resentment, and that in all of these things that are ultimately blocking you from the love that you really deserve. So we dive deep on the first day to start looking into those things that are blocking you. And then we start dealing with the fears that you've developed because of them and help you to start releasing them, right? And so then we also guide you through a process of what I call emotional detox, right? To move past the negative experiences where a lot of us lived in victim mode and what happened to us, right? That story that we tell when we're out to dinner with friends and, oh my God, you won't believe what happened to me. We want to shift from that victim mode to an awakening, right? We want to awaken our authentic self where we're free from fear or judgment or any of those things. And this shift really happens at the retreat. And let me tell you how powerful this shift is. I've had a couple of women last year. Not only did they attend the retreat, not only did they really participate, not only did they really create breakthroughs, but right after the retreat, I'm talking about within 30 days, I had 3 women get into serious relationships. I have 2 of them. 30 days.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because the work we do, you know, they say the real deal with Camille, because I really I don't give them fluff and stuff. You know, so many people just give you fluff and stuff on how to trick and trap a man into a relationship. I don't do that. There's a lot of people that do it and they do it well. I don't put no shade on what they do. That's just not what I do. What I do is I help you really understand what's blocking you. And a lot of time women don't want to hear it at first, but it really has to do with the trauma or the daddy issues or the mommy issues, right? Or some of the Uncle John issues that came over to the house and, you know, molested and raped you, right? And so, or beat you for some of the guys, right? I heard a comedian over the weekend, he said that his mama was dating some guy and the guy was giving them a beating. You know what I mean? Who does that? You know, so that guy is traumatized. You know, he's making a lot of money being a comedian, but he's traumatized, you know. And so how do we heal that stuff? And so I really help them heal that. And when they heal that stuff, what happens is that they don't show up into relationships needy, right? And so I help them shift from where they are. And so one of the girls are engaged, one of the girls are married, and one of the girls are about to have a baby.
Wow.
And so the retreat is not even a year ago, right?
Wow.
So the work we do, when I say the work we do will be powerful, it will be powerful and it will be magnificent and fabulous, because the first night we do paint and sip. I like to break the ice, but I like to also set the vision. I do vision boarding sometimes, but instead of doing vision board, we're going to paint our vision. And so last year, the women painted wedding dresses because that's what they all wanted. And 3 of those women are planning their weddings, right? The next day, we went to the adventure park, which is something that a lot of women don't get to do, is to play. Right. So we tree climb. We have a coach there that really works with us on how to depend on each other, how to support each other, how to carry each other across a bridge and not let the other one fall, right? And how to break through our fears by zip lining, and all of that, right? And then this year, on that night after we finished tree climbing, I have my personal coach, and she is a pole dancing champion of the United States. She's going to work class, so she's going to help us dig into that powerful feminine energy, and not that we need to twerk for a man, but we're going to twerk so we can feel good, right? If you decide to use your skills on a man later, that's okay, but it's all about making you feel good and confident in your own body. Friday is my favorite day of all. We do workshop every morning. I didn't say that. Every single morning we have breakfast, which is provided. Gourmet food, meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do yoga. right? We do meditation, right? We do workshop in the morning. So the activities I'm talking about are usually each afternoon after we dive in and do the work. We now go apply the work inside of some type of activity. And Friday, we're going to go to the spa. And we're going to a fabulous spa. It's a spa that most people probably will never go to or afford on their own. And so this spa is really amazing. And we'll go to the spa. When we come back, we'll have a boudoir beauty bar bash. Say that 3 times fast. And the girls, I'm including a makeover in that. I have a makeup artist coming out, a boudoir photographer coming out. They're going to get all gussied up, beautified, and they're going to get their boudoir pictures taken. Some of you have seen my pictures posted. The same photographer is coming out to do that. And then we'll do that night. Sometimes afterwards, and I have the presidential suite for all of those activities. Food is provided. Mm-hmm. And then after that, sometimes we get to go out, and I watch the women interact, and I really encourage them and motivate them. I pick a guy and say, go sit next to them, and I help them shape the conversation in their body language, and I critique them on that so that they'll understand how to position themselves to really attract a man.
We have a question, and sure. When you finish, we have a question.
Sure. I'll take the question.
So Michelle asks, what are some of the things that you should not talk about on a first date?
Some of the things you shouldn't talk about the first date. Well, in line with what I'm talking about, don't talk about all your trauma, right? Don't talk about all your trauma. What I want to do, can we share the retreat website for them as well?
Please.
So that some of them they can probably go out there and check it out while we're chatting. It's called the loverejuvenationretreat.com. Loverejuvenationretreat.com. And I'll try to post that on our live. I'm not sure how many folks will grab that, but see if I can post it here.
Okay.
And then, okay, so I posted it on the live that's on my page, which you are tagged in. Okay, good. So it's the Love Rejuvenation Retreat. So the one thing we do not want to talk about on first dates, I'm going to give you 2. How about that? This is a bonus. Don't question the man to death. Number 1, everybody always says, have your list of questions, girl. Ask him about this and what is his dreams and what is his goal and does he want to get married? The reality is he has dreams, he has goals, and yes, he wants to get married and have a baby and buy a house. But when he says that stuff, we think he's talking to us. He didn't say with you.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I want to get married. I want to have a house. I want to have some kids. And what we say is, whoa, he wants to do that with us. No, he doesn't. He's telling you what he wants. Right?
That's right.
He doesn't even know you yet. Exactly. He doesn't even know. All he knows is that you are attractive enough that he wants to make love to you, and he's willing and get to know you, and he's willing to buy you dinner or pay money for your day and your meal and some flowers so he can perhaps have an opportunity to. And then we'll see where it goes. That's all he knows. Right? Men are visual. You look beautiful. Any man that wants to date you, he's already thought about having sex with you, because if he doesn't want to have sex with you, he's not going to take you out. That's just a pure fact, right? And so don't ask him a zillion questions. Go out and have fun, enjoy yourself, get to know each other, just like you would do with a girlfriend. You wouldn't go out with a girlfriend and say, hey, what do you do? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are you doing? You wouldn't do all of that. You just go out and enjoy yourself and let the conversation lead you, and you lean in and enjoy that conversation. Well, that's the same thing you want to do with a man. Number 2, don't talk about all your trauma, your drama, your 4 kids at home. Don't talk about your ex-husband, your ex-boyfriend, and how he hurt you and how all men are dogs. None of that. None of that. Because then you won't get called back for a second date. I hope that was helpful. That helps.
Yeah, we're having. So Camille, I want you to give people, because the computer is a little bit slow. It says the bandwidth is low. I think I'm seeing you again right now. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. I want you to give them the details again, give them the deets about your retreat again,
Okay.
and how they can participate, go and research, and hopefully come.
Okay. So the retreat is going to be October 3rd through 7th in Virginia Beach, Virginia, USA. I have to say that because I do have several people that are in my community outside of the country. And the retreat, the website is loverejuvenationretreat.com. And so if you want to learn about the retreat and get more information, let me know. Right now we have buy one, get the second ticket 50% off. So if that's something that you may be interested in, you have to DM me so I can do it, because that actually expired last night. But when the sweet, beautiful lady here invited me on, I figured I'd give the offer to her community, even though it expired last night. So if you're really interested, you know, Keisa is so sweet. You know, if y'all want to join us, I will give your community. Please say, I'm in Keisa's community. How can I take advantage of the buy one, get one 50% off? I only have 3. I think I might only have 2 left. So please be mindful of that. I might try to be creative for the people in your community, but we only had 3 offers, and that was only because someone canceled. So.
Awesome.
Yes.
I wanted to say thank you, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so excited about what you're doing. I want to tell you to continue the work. It's needed. Healing is definitely needed. And the screen says that my internet connection is unstable. So I guess we'll just go ahead and prepare to wrap it up. But thank you, Camille. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And keep in mind, when the I'm video us live, so there's nothing wrong with our connection. So they'll get a crisp, clean video when we're done.
So we can then post that again on my page, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sounds great. Camille, thank you so very much. And thank you to all of you out there who are watching as well. And Camille, you and I will be talking, and I think we need to do something special coming up, as in maybe having like a Q&A or something like that. What do you think?
That sounds good. Anytime, just let me know.
Awesome. Camille Sheppard-Parrish, we appreciate you. Have a wonderful night, and you and I will be chatting soon, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We will. Take care. Thank you so much, honey. God bless.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Okay.
And thank you for tuning in, everybody. We're going to post a clean version of our video and of our talk. So stay tuned to my my Facebook page. But I just thought it was important to be able to talk to you all about healthy love, and to be able to talk to you all about relationships, because relationships, as we know, have changed. Dating, as we know it, has changed in these times. And, you know, whether we like it or not, it's one of those personal things that we may not want to deal with, but you attract who you are, if that makes sense. You attract who you are. I'm attracting who I am. So if that is true, or even if it's even close to being true, it is important that we are as healthy as we can possibly be. And I may have said this earlier, but one of the things that I really like about Camille, and I've been following her, is that she gives us the opportunity to ask ourselves the tough questions, to go down and, like she said earlier on this broadcast, to face the little girl, and for my guys to face the little boy if you're so inclined, because oftentimes that's where our answers really lie, okay? So my heart and my passion is to be able to encourage you. My heart and my passion is for you to be able to live this life to the fullest, and to be able to receive everything that this life has to offer. And as part of that, love is a part of it. And I know sometimes we have a hard time admitting that and saying that we really do want love, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? I believe that that's every individual's desire. So I applaud the work of Camille and others out there who are really trying to help us in this day and age, because it sometimes seems that just the biggest thing and the most difficult thing is just connecting. You know, we're all on our phones, we're all working, we all have all this stuff that we need to do that sometimes we just fail to connect. We need to learn how to connect. We need to learn how to be concerned about one another. We need to learn how to just be able to say hello to one another and offer a smile. You wouldn't believe, as I travel, it's like people don't even want to look at each other anymore. Like they're just afraid to kind of look and to smile. So I'd said jokingly and had this thought to myself that I'm really going to start a revolution, a kindness revolution, and just start speaking to people and saying hello and flashing them a smile. It'll probably freak them out, but later on they'll get the lesson, they'll get the message. So again, I hope that there was something shared that will encourage you. No worries about this live part, because we're going to go back and we're going to actually share the clean version that Camille recorded on Zoom. So thank you for tuning in. I'm endeavoring to bring you 12 broadcasts this year to encourage and enrich your life. So I hope you have a wonderful Thursday night and an even better weekend. And until next time I see you on air, my friends, have an absolutely marvelous Thursday. And hope you have a great weekend, okay? Mwah! Have a great night. And thanks for tuning in. Whoop! Block just fell right in my eye.
Don't worry.
I didn't know that I was keeping it there as well, but thank